This is now Africa 24. Coups do not appear from nowhere. When a country reaches the point where soldiers remove a government, it means something has been going wrong for a very long time. A coup is never sudden. It is almost always the final outcome of problems that were ignored, hidden, or allowed to grow unchecked. People do not wake up one morning and decide to overthrow a government for no reason. There is always a history behind it. Often, leaders stop listening to their citizens. Governments pretend everything is fine while people suffer. Resources disappear, public services collapse, and leaders live comfortably while ordinary people struggle. When this situation continues for years, trust begins to disappear. Citizens feel ignored, cheated, and disrespected. When no peaceful solution seems possible, people begin to support drastic change. In that sense, a coup is not just soldiers taking power. It is a signal that something inside the system has already broken. If leadership had been honest, transparent, and focused on the people, many coups would never happen. A coup is like a warning light on a dashboard. It does not cause the problem. It reveals that the engine has been failing for a long time. Many Africans are confused when they see Western countries praising leaders who are failing at home. Some leaders are corrupt, manipulate elections, or steal national wealth, yet they are called partners by foreign governments. They receive praise, funding, and international support while citizens suffer from poor schools, weak hospitals, broken roads, and rising poverty. Sometimes the West does not see these problems. Other times, it sees them but ignores them because of its own interests. Then a coup happens and the world expresses shock. But the people are not shocked. They already knew the truth. The coup exposes what international praise tried to hide. It reveals that the leader described as democratic or stable was actually failing their people. In this way, coups often uncover realities that were hidden behind diplomatic language and foreign approval. This shows an important truth. Outsiders cannot judge a country better than the people who live in it. Real stability does not come from foreign praise. It comes from fairness, accountability, and honest leadership. People do not support coups for entertainment. They support them when they feel betrayed, ignored, and pushed into desperation. Imagine living in a country where leaders promise change during elections but do nothing afterward. Imagine watching a small elite grow richer while the majority remain poor. Imagine hearing about leaders buying luxury homes abroad while citizens cannot afford food. At first, people complain quietly. Then they protest. When nothing changes, frustration turns into anger. Eventually, patience runs out. At that point, a coup begins to look like the only remaining option. This does not mean people love military rule. It means they feel trapped. A coup becomes a symbol of saying enough. People want honesty, fairness, and dignity. When trust is destroyed, overthrowing the government feels like the only way to reset the system. And if new leaders repeat the same mistakes, people will turn against them as well. This cycle will continue until leadership begins to respect citizens. Not all coups are the same. Some happen because individuals want power, wealth, or control. These coups are dangerous. They create fear, instability, and more suffering. But there are also coups that many citizens view differently. These occur when soldiers claim they are acting against corruption, election fraud, and national humiliation. People see these coups as an opportunity for change. However, a coup is only justified by its results. Promises are meaningless without action. New leaders must deliver real improvements. Better services, less corruption, fairness, and hope. If they behave like those they removed, the coup loses legitimacy. In the end, coups are judged not by intentions but by outcomes. Across Africa, young people are becoming more vocal. They know the future belongs to them, yet they feel locked out of decision-making. When youth protest or support radical change, it is often because they feel ignored by aging political systems. They want jobs, opportunity, and dignity. When leaders refuse to listen, frustration grows. Youth are not enemies of the state. They are its future. Leaders should not fear them, but include them. When young people are respected and given responsibility, they become partners in development rather than supporters of instability. Inclusion creates loyalty. Exclusion creates anger. One of the biggest drivers of political anger is dishonesty. When governments hide information, make secret decisions, or refuse to explain problems, trust disappears. Rumors spread, suspicion grows, and conflict becomes inevitable. Transparency, on the other hand, changes everything. When leaders explain challenges openly, citizens may be unhappy, but they understand. If a government says it lacks funds because tax collection is low, people can see the logic. They feel included in the solution. Transparency is not weakness. It is protection. It builds trust and prevents rebellion. Many believe civilian leadership automatically means democracy and safety. This is not true. Some civilian governments behave worse than military ones. They rig elections, silence critics, steal public funds, and protect only their allies. Wearing a suit does not make someone legitimate. Behavior does. If a civilian president cheats elections, is that democracy? If protesters are killed, is that peace? If money meant for hospitals is stolen, is that good governance? The answer is no. Civilian leaders must be held accountable just like anyone else. Democracy is defined by service and fairness, not by titles. The African Union reacts quickly to coups, suspending countries and demanding civilian rule. This is necessary, but incomplete. The AU rarely punishes civilian leaders who violate constitutions, steal resources, or crush opposition. This double standard angers citizens. It suggests that corruption is acceptable as long as the leader is civilian. For stability, the AU must treat all leaders equally. If a civilian president cheats elections or abuses power, there must be consequences. If accountability only applies to soldiers, the cycle of coups will continue. Balanced justice creates hope. The Democratic Republic of Congo shows how foreign interests distort African politics. Congo is rich in cobalt, essential for global technology. Because of this, some foreign governments prioritize mineral access over democracy. Leaders who were not properly elected are supported because they protect business interests. Citizens see that their votes do not matter. Decisions are made elsewhere. When people realize their future is controlled by outsiders, faith in elections disappears. This is why instability grows. Africa must protect its own interests. A coup is not the disease. It is the symptom. When governance fails, the alarm sounds. Instead of only condemning coups, the real question must be asked. Why did people lose trust? Hunger, corruption, and humiliation push societies toward desperation. Good governance prevents coups. Bad governance invites them. Stability comes from honest leadership, citizen inclusion, and accountability. People are reasonable. They accept hardship when leaders tell the truth. But they reject lies and arrogance. Democracy is not just elections or international praise. It is accountability. When leaders know they can be punished, they behave better. When citizens see fairness, they trust the system. Without accountability, anger grows and instability follows. For democracy to survive in Africa, it must be real. Not a performance, not a slogan, but a system where leaders truly answer to the people.